This up for those who persevere and who see through the tears. And in the grand scheme of everything, them still the year. And although we no millionaire, feel like a millionaire, we still a celebrate. I put me hand in at the air and say I am a success story. Yeah, success, a success story. I am a success story. Yeah, success, a success story. I am a success story.
I'll try to be as brief as possible, but I don't go over the time. Okay, so I'm here to talk to you today about Grace Kennedy Foundation scholarships. So Grace Kennedy has two foundations, the Grace and Staff and the Grace Kennedy Foundation. And we provide an array of scholarships to tertiary students. So we have 9 endowed /named scholarships. The value is from $400,000 to a maximum of $550,000 among the different scholarships. They are available for students studying, so undergraduate students studying at UWI, UTech, Edna Manley College, and Caribbean Maritime University. So at CMU, we provide a final year scholarship. The scholarships are very competitive, and you have to at least have a minimum of 3.8 GPA to be shortlisted for an interview. So that's minimum of between 7.1s at CSEC, 1s and 2s at CAPE. So our scholarships are very competitive. Now, I hope that doesn't deter you from applying. We do even though our scholarships are merit-based, they're also need-based. A lot of our scholars come from very rough circumstances. Most of our scholars come from very rough circumstances, and we do work with Grace and Staff to see how we can assist persons, and I'll talk about that shortly. We also are doing this year, hopefully we can open it for next month. We're doing a collaboration with Grace Kennedy Financial Group, where the Digital Institute will be providing a Digital Institute scholarship to persons studying at UWI, UTech, Edna Manley, and NCU. And that will be for persons in their second year, going into final year currently in second year, going into final year in their in September. And that scholarship will allow you to not only, help with your tuition payment, but Grace Kennedy Financial Group will take you on based on what you're studying, because it is a Digital Institute scholarship. So you have to be studying any like IT, computer science, stuff like that in the digital factory field, software engineering, all of those different stuff. And they will have you intern at a Grace Kennedy, in the Grace Kennedy Financial Group. And based on your performance, you can end up getting employed by the company. So look out for more information on that next month. So our merit scholarships, so shortlisted candidates qualify for merit scholarships. These are usually given to shortlisted candidates who went to the interviews but were not selected as the winners. We also give to strong applicants who were not shortlisted. So that may mean that so you're strong and you are in need, but you might not be as strong as the others who were shortlisted. So that's where that comes into play, where you can qualify. What we do not fund medicine, nursing, dentistry. We don't fund law. We don't fund engineering at UWI unless proof is provided that the balance will be paid. And we do not fund overseas studies. How do you apply? So this is the link. I will drop it in the chat. Finish.
Will you say don't apply, don't fund for again?
Medicine, nursing, the slide here. Medicine, nursing, dentistry, law, engineering at UWI, overseas studies. So these are the things that we don't fund. So you can make a note of the slide. All right, so I'll drop the application link in the chat. All applications are accepted online. This is the Grace Kennedy's website, on Grace Kennedy's website. Applications open May 1 and close July 15, with the exception of the Digital Institute Scholarship. As I mentioned before, applications should hopefully be opened sometime next month and closed by May, because Digital Institute wants you to start working at Grace Kennedy by June. Minimum 3.0 GPA to be renewed. So all are renewable, but you have to ensure that you fulfill certain requirements to be renewed. So you have to have a 3.0 GPA. You must complete 40 volunteer hours per year, and you become a member of the GK Campus Connect program. So as GK Campus Connect program, we have different activities taking place for you to earn your volunteer service. So we have Ace with Grace, which is a tutoring service that the GK scholars do with Grace and students, as well as students, as well as children of Grace Kennedy staff. So, and you volunteer at the food bank. So those are the ways where you can earn your volunteer hours. And as part of the GK Campus Connect program, Grace Kennedy tries to match scholars, GK scholars, with different Grace Kennedy companies. And the companies now have our HR group has a database that stores our scholars' resumes. And if there are any internships available, temporary jobs, they go through our network first before they go out. So scholars are now being hired by the company a lot. So it's really a good time part of the Grace Kennedy Foundation scholarship program. So our scholarship applications, what do we want from you? I'm just gonna give you some tips about how. So I need you guys to prepare from early. I know I said scholarship applications open May 1 and close July 15. That's over 2 months. I don't want you waiting until July 4 to apply, and you're sending emails at 4:30 or 5 p.m. in the evening saying that this application form is not working. I will not be up. None of our staff will be up either. We won't be at work. So basically you just won't get to apply. So I really have to advise you guys to stop waiting until the last minute to apply, because every time persons wait till last minute, the server is bombarded with application forms and something always goes wrong. So prepare from early, research all the available scholarships early. So as I mentioned before, we have 9 scholarships that open May 1, right? And close July 15. So go to the website, look at what scholarships you're eligible for. You can apply for more than one. It all depends on your eligibility, right? And you can be we shortlist you based on where we think you fit best, but apply for as many as you qualify for, right? Ensure from now that your birth certificate and any other required documents are accurate. That includes your CSEC and your CAPE certificates, any transcript, everything. Make sure that they're accurate and up to date and they're ready to go so you can scan them, right? And I say scan or a legible photograph. Please do not send any photographs. That's like, I can barely see it because it's taken from an angle because you're trying to get everything and it's dark and we cannot see. I know some persons do not have access to a scanner, right? You can literally, there's an app on in Google Play Store, maybe they even have one in the Apple Store, where you can literally use Adobe or any scanner to scan a document and save it as a PDF. So I'm asking you to please ensure that your application form, including your attachments, are legible, right? And they're accurate. Be aware of all deadlines. Don't wait until the last minute to apply. I cannot stress this enough. It's really, really important, because I will not be answering the phone at 11:59 p.m. because you cannot application form. So it just won't get submitted. We get a lot of applications each year. So unfortunately, if you wait until the last minute and your application does not go through, we're not going to be accepting it. Get your recommendations in from early. You can always have the recommendation on file. It doesn't have to be addressed to Grace Kennedy Foundation. I mean, it's good to have that, But if you get a recommendation from early, you can have that on different scholarships, right? So that's something to think about as well. What are we looking for? I mentioned some of this before: clean, organized application. All documents must be submitted on time. So we know that persons will be doing exams, either you're doing CAPE or you're still sitting your exams at university. You can submit those after the deadline has passed. Do not wait for us to tell you to submit your grades before you submit them, right? If the grade documents are outstanding, please submit them as soon as possible. We're looking for rounded individuals possessing leadership qualities. So it's not just, we said our scholarships are merit-based. That does not mean that we're only looking for somebody who is brilliant. On paper, we also need someone who is rounded. We want someone who is involved in co-curricular activities, has leadership skills or positions, like they're a member of a club, president or vice president, of a club, or doing work within their community, stuff like that, that show you are doing more than just academics. Appropriate email and phone etiquette. So, I mean, you're really getting the tip right here. So what we do is that before we shortlist persons, to shortlist, because we have a shortlist with around 10 persons or 15 persons, we only interview around 4 or 5. What we do is that we call the person, we email them. If they don't respond, within a good period of time, or their email etiquette is off, we might mix them from the bunch. We also call them on the phone and listen to how they respond, how they answer the phone, how they respond to our questions. And we actually use that to kind of shortlist people down to the number that we need. So make sure that you have appropriate email and phone etiquette. You're getting it straight from my mouth. So that's something that you can prepare for. What else are we looking for? Self-presentation. So first impressions, you know what they always say about first impressions, right? So even though, before COVID, we used to have interviews in person at a university. Now we've been having it over Zoom or Microsoft Teams. I think we'll probably be doing the same this year. And that does not mean that everything that happens in person just stops. You still need to ensure that you are dressed appropriately, so that's in business attire, what you're well groomed, your hair is tidy and everything, is in place. Your nonverbal communication. So that means maintaining eye contact when we're speaking to you, when you're speaking to us. That's very important as well. Verbal communication, make sure that you're speaking properly, you're speaking clearly, that we can hear you, and and you just speak confidently, be confident in yourself, so that we are confident in you. So that's really important. Make sure that you're maintaining all of these different cues. Also ensure that you have good lighting, and good background as well. That's important. So all of these things are really important, even in a virtual interview, and they're probably even more important then, because we can't physically be beside you, to judge everything. So make sure that you give your best, during the interviews. Nonverbal communication. These are, I mentioned some of these already. Handshake is if you're in person, of course. Posture and physical distance are important. Arms and hands. So make sure that you position yourself properly in front of the camera. Facial expression, eye contact, tone, these are all important, and you can always do, some Google search, watch some YouTube videos to prepare before the interviews. Just make sure that you come prepared. Verbal communications, anticipate questions, right? So make sure that you research. This is really important. Make sure that you ask questions if you have any questions to ask. Tell us about yourself. your weaknesses, your strengths, goal for the next 5 years. Make sure that you thank the interviewers afterwards, you know. So these are, you can screenshot if you want. It's fine with me. So just make sure that you come prepared. Research is really important. If you are going to an interview for a Grace Kennedy Foundation scholarship, you should know information about Grace Kennedy Foundation and Grace Kennedy Limited, because you know it's a company foundation, it's a corporate foundation, right? So make sure that you research all of that information. Is it a named scholarship, like the Carlton Alexander Scholarship? If that's the case, you need to know all the information about Carlton Alexander. You know, stuff like that is really important. That's really important. So we know that you came prepared to conquer the interview.
Right.
All right, so that's my presentation. I'll probably go for the time.
This up for those who persevere and who see through the tears. And in the grand scheme of everything, them still the year. And although we no millionaire, feel like a millionaire, we still a celebrate. So put me hand in at the air and say I am a success story. Yeah, success, a success story. I am a success story. Yeah, success, a success story. I am a success story.
Good morning again, everyone. I am
Good
Michelle
morning.
Williams from the Ministry of Education. I'm gonna be touching on 3 topics. They are JAMVAT, financial assistance, and scholarships. So I'm going to first be speaking on JAMVAT. JAMVAT is the Jamaica Values and Attitudes program. It offers students financial assistance, but each student must apply and they must be approved to do 200 voluntary hours at any public institution. The 200 voluntary hours covers 30% of their tuition, not exceeding $350,000. I just said you must apply and be approved, because students are they would apply, they are not waiting for the approval, and they are starting the hours. They must be approved because we have to inform the institutions to which they will be doing the hours that they are approved. They must get something from us to go and do the hours. You can change the slide now, please. All right, JAMVAT allows students to gain work experience, and it shows how students are able to fit in a workplace scenario and how they react or interact with other persons within the institution in which they are doing the hours. All right, there are some conditions. You can benefit from JAMVAT for 3 years, for not more than 3 years. You must have the ability, when we give you the 30%, to be able to pay the remainder of the tuition. You must be between the ages of 18 and 35 on or before December 2022. You have to get acceptance letter if you're just entering the university, a status letter if you're already there, tuition letter, and transcript for returning students. Passport size photograph, a valid ID, and your TRN. Please go to the financial assistance. No, thanks. All right, financial assistance. You can apply, anyone can apply for financial assistance. We give you a total of up to $299,999. I'm going to explain the maximum benefit. say for instance, you can also get $100,000. But say for instance, this year you got 100, you apply next year again and you get 100 again, and or more than 100, it becomes a scholarship and you will be bonded. So you can get up to 2,999,999, and you can also get only 100,000. It depends on the budget. For financial assistance, students must do 40 hours, voluntary hours, and this is at any public institution. Say, for instance, you are pursuing a degree in teaching, a BA degree. You can do these hours at a school.
Excuse me, miss.
Yes, go ahead.
I thought for Gemma, that's supposed to be like 300 hours. I mean,
No, it's
200 hours. 200 hours.
200 for the JAMVAT.
Yeah, so I said 40 hours. So where?
This is 40 hours now for financial assistance. It's two separate programs.
Okay.
Go ahead, change the slide, please. Oh, so you'll need basically the same documents as for JAMVAT for financial assistance. So it's letter of acceptance or status letter, progress report, transcript, evidence of outstanding balances or tuition fee must be obtained from the institution. You need a job letter if you're employed. So employed persons, it's not only students who can apply, but persons who are employed and are doing their degree part-time. You need a passport size photograph.
You can come back to the side before.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. It's a letter of acceptance or a status letter, progress report or transcript. Evidence of outstanding balances or tuition fees must be obtained from the institution. So you must get a letter from the institution if you're a first-year student stating this is your tuition fees. Or if you have balances, you're already there, you need to get the tuition fee letter stating the amount you owe. Is that okay now? Can I move on?
Yes, miss.
Okay. Also, you need also an evidence of need, and that is a reference letter from two referee. They know about your situation and can vouch that your parents is a helper, or you have started your program, but you are now in financial difficulties. Maybe a parent died or a sibling died or something happened. They should be able to speak to it. You can also get letters from your guidance counselor, representatives from student support services, a member of parliament, a justice of the peace. And if you don't have these documents, we will not be shortlisting you or putting you in the pool that will be considered. I will move now to scholarships. All right, so we have scholarships. And these are, I'm gonna name them for you, but I'm going to speak on one specific one. You have the Annual Jamaica Scholarship, the Emancipation Scholarship, UTech Open Scholarship, Jamaica Technical High School Scholarship, and this scholarship is for students who are studying at a technical high school. There's the Elias A. Issa Scholarship, and this is a private scholarship. This year it will be for a female. There's also the Math, Science, TVET Education and Engineering Scholarships. There's the In-Service Teacher Upgrade Program for teachers who are already in the program. They have a diploma, but no, they're trying to get access their bachelor's degree. There's also the Ministry of Education and Monroe College, New York Scholarship. And this one is fairly new. It's for persons doing computer studies, but they must be overseas. They must be studying overseas. So I'm going to be
Which one,
speaking.
miss? Those study overseas is for which scholarship?
The MOEYI Monroe College, New York Scholarship. I'm going to be speaking on the annual Jamaica scholarships. All right, so there are 7 annual Jamaica scholarships, namely the Jamaica Male, Jamaica Female, Jamaica Independence Open, Jamaica Independence Male, Jamaica Independence Female, the Jamaica Centenary, and the Jamaica Adult Suffrage Open Scholarship. Students, you must be pursuing 3 core subjects and communication studies or Caribbean studies. What I mean by course subjects, you can be doing maths, geography, and accounts. So you can do any mixture, but you must be doing Caribbean studies or communication studies. You must apply for these scholarships. If you don't stand a chance. Because what happens, when you apply, we send your information to the CXC office in Barbados. They would do the actual ranking based on your 2 units of CAPE. So it's not the ministry who does the ranking. It's your scores that you would have gotten, whether you got a 1 or a 2, in the exams that the persons at CXC in Barbados would put together both units, and you will come up with a core, a standard point. Move along, please. Go down to the MST vet one for me, please. I just explained it. All right, so you have the MST vet scholarship, and these are the areas that you can apply for: engineering, physics, chemistry, geography, visual arts education, industrial arts, agriculture, and special education. These are open to any tertiary institution, namely you can have UTech, UII, CMU, NCU, so all institutions. The others I mentioned before, you had to be at UII or UTech. The teachers' colleges, persons who want to go to the teachers' colleges can apply for this MST vet scholarship. All right, students must maintain an cumulative GPA of 3.0 to continue to access funding. If you're already in the program, for first timers, they will use your CSEC or your CAPE to plan an interview for you. Scholarships are awarded to first and second year applicants. Once awarded the scholarships, the student will not be allowed to change their program, as this is considered a breach of contract, and students will be required to repay funds already paid to the institution. All awardees are expected to be bonded to the government for a period of 5 years, and this means awardees are expected to work a minimum of 5 years in the public sector institutions. The funds are payable to each institution, so we don't pay funds to students. So the student,
you pay the funds like to the school and not the students?
Right, we only pay to the institution. Benefits of this award are tuition and miscellaneous fees, book grant, and boarding is optional. You would have to apply, write a letter explaining your situation, and a committee will look into it to see if they can, what you have requested they are able to honor. That is in terms of boarding. All right, so there's some important information. Our scholarships opens on the first day in April and we close on the 30th of June. You will have to apply online. We are not taking any paper anymore and this is because of COVID. You are required to complete all sections of the application form, submit all required supporting documents, and I'm going to explain a little about this. For a first-year student, you apply. You might not have received your acceptance letter, but still do your application. What we have found out is that students are waiting until they receive the actual acceptance letter to start to apply. When you do that, you will not be eligible because we would have closed the portal and you would not be able to apply. All our scholarships, you can only get one of them. We used to give, like for instance, the JAMVAT and maybe financial assistance. But in trying to assist more students, we have now put it down to only one. I will skip this. All right, I want to stop. You can stop share window. That's fine. I'm gonna just speak. Students, we have a little issue. You apply on the portal, but you are not pressing the submit button. So your application is in cyberspace. So we're asking you to go through again and to ensure that you click the submit buttons. Students, you are also to apply for everything you see. You must apply for student loan even if you do not need it, because you don't know what will happen down the road. Your mother or father might have had a trust fund for you, but something happened and they would have to use it. So use student loan as your backup because you don't know what will happen. And remember to apply for everything you see. Go online and do your research, but apply. Have a good rest of the day and thank you.
This up for those who persevere and who see through the tears. And in the grand scheme of everything, them still the year. And although we no millionaire, feel like a millionaire, we still a celebrate. I put me hand in the air and say I am a success story. Yeah, success, a success story. I am a success story. Yeah, success, a success story. I am a success story.
So today I'll be introducing to you the Workforce Planning and Improvement Branch, which is formerly called the Scholarships and Assistance Unit within the Ministry of Finance and the Public Service. We're going to highlight our role and functions and give you a brief overview of the bonding and compliance process, which is a core requisite for most of the scholarships that we offer. Now, before starting the presentation, before going into the scholarships portion at least, the overview is that we support national learning and developmental programs in which are consistent with the Vision 2030 plan. So we administer government central scholarships and fellowship programs, which is in conjunction with multilateral offers and bilateral offers, meaning that we don't offer a scholarship from the Ministry of Finance, but we seek partnership with other countries and associations that will provide scholarships to Jamaican citizens. We act as a point of contact for the various donor agencies and countries offering technical assistance to the government, as I said, under bilateral and multilateral agreements. We also manage a scholarships training assistance offers. We are responsible for disseminating information on training and study opportunities. We manage the bonding and compliance process, which is any recipient of an award from the government of Jamaica is bonded for a minimum period of 2 years to a maximum period of 5 years. So once the award is $300,000 or more, then it means that you're required to sign a bond. We provide leadership and direction in the planning and developing of workforce and talent management within the public sector, and support and facilitate the government objectives as it relates to talent management. We also contribute to the creation of an efficient, motivated public service capable of implementing and managing government programs. Now, overview again, bilateral scholarships, multilateral scholarships, local scholarships, union assistance, bonding and compliance.
Miss, you can go back, please.
Pardon?
You can go back to the other side, please.
Which one? The one before this?
Yes, miss.
Is there anything you'd like for me to explain on the slide?
Oh no, go back. You can go now.
Okay. All right, so bilateral scholarships are offered between two countries, so Jamaica and another partnering country or another partnering agency. Multilateral scholarships is normally between an organization such as the Organization of American States, New Zealand Commonwealth, the Commonwealth Secretariat. So it's a multilateral base, meaning that you're not only studying in one, you have the opportunity to study in several different countries, not just a one-to-one relationship. For local scholarships, what we do is manage and monitor the bonding and compliance process for the institutions that provide local scholarships. So our partners would be the Ministry of Education, etc. Union assistance grants and scholarships. If it is that you're a child of a public sector worker, you are entitled to apply for grants under this program, where you can be afforded the opportunity of a grant of 150,000, meaning you don't repay it, you don't pay a bond for it, but you must meet certain criteria, meaning you must have a GPA of 3.0 and above. It is merit-based, and yes, it is only 150,000, but guess what? It will start you. You can take this opportunity to apply for it and even go to student loan and get the balance of your funding because you'd have already been in for one semester for some programs. It is tied to the parents, meaning that if your parent is not a public sector worker, then it's not applicable. The union grants and assistance as well, if it is that the person is a part of a union, for example, the Nurses Association, the Jamaica Police Federation, any one of the unions, the Jamaica Confederation of Trade Unions, they do have monies, or we do provide monies for them to provide tertiary assistance to the students of the parents who have joined this union. So you do have that avenue, and it is a grant again, not a scholarship, and repayment is not requested unless, of course, you'd have gotten more than one award, and it is over the $300,000. For this particular award again, you can only apply every 3 years. So you have a 4-year program at school, you apply in your first year, you're not eligible again until 3 years time. Now we inform the public on training opportunities via the published media and online. We do have social media handles right now. So we're on Twitter, we're on Facebook, we're on YouTube, and we do have a lot of information going out. And COVID has taught us that, the importance of online interaction and not only face-to-face or print. Information is also provided on the Ministry of Finance website, which is www.mof.gov.jm/scholarships. So once there is a scholarship offer present, we will upload the information and the application details to the website. We will put it in the print media, and we'll also publish it on, post it on our social media handles. We interface with program managers in the ministry's departments and agencies, as well as walk-in clients, and we are signatory as the approving authority on application forms. So these scholarship forms that are submitted through the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade, we have to sign off on them, giving approval for persons to take up the scholarships. So our bilateral partners. Scholarships are offered through China and Cuba, which are our two main bilateral partners right now. These scholarship offers advertise normally in January to February and start from your BSc and can take you straight up to doctoral studies. For China, they look at sustainable agriculture, water technology, education, engineering, environment, and climate change. They're used to the medicine, but we are currently having discussions with the Chinese embassy because based on what is taught in China, and when they have to come back to Jamaica to do the internship, we're realizing that there is some disparity. And so the students are not placed in a proper internship program when they return. So we have to be looking at that. And so it's not being offered right now for medicine. However, Cuba is our biggest contributor as it relates to offering scholarships for medicine. In the undergraduate studies, they offer 4 for general medicine, and for the master's program, they offer 2 spaces. It is highly competitive, but Cuba is also flexible. The selection process for any of our scholarships is normally done by the associated embassy, the country's embassy. So you would apply online, submit your application, submit your documentation. We review it in the scholarships and assistance unit for completion to ensure that everything that is required is there. If it is not there, we reach out and contact you and ask you to do the necessaries. And then we forward the information to the embassies and consulates for them to do the shortlisting. Cuba, the Cuban study areas are internal medicine, pediatrics, obstetrics and gynecology, hygiene, general hygiene and epidemiology, general surgery and dental medicine. For Russia, and yes, we know what is happening in Russia and between Russia and Ukraine right now, but Russia is one of our bilateral partners, and they will advertise their scholarships to us or provide the information to us for the period of March to April. Normally in the bachelor or master's field, again, we have international relations, engineering, dentistry, science and... Yes?
Isn't that supposed to say Siberia or was it Serbia?
It's Serbia.
Oh.
Serbia. And for Serbia, which is advertised in October to November, they take programs from the undergraduates again to the doctoral level, and a list of programs are there. Now for these scholarships, most times it is fully funded and also accompanied by a stipend from the government of Jamaica through the Ministry of Finance. So you apply, you're selected for your interview or shortlisted. You go, and as your first presenter said from the Grace Kennedy Foundation, first impressions last, and it's virtually now. So, you know, you have to present, you have to turn up for any of the interviews and present and make them understand why it is that you are the best candidate for this particular scholarship. Upon being selected, they will tell you what the criteria is. One is, of course, to sign a bond, and I'll explain what that is a little later. With our multilateral partners, the Organization of American States, as I said, advertised in January, we had 15 scholarship applications for this in January. New Zealand Commonwealth, normally February to March. I'm not sure if this is out right now. Some of our scholarships are a bit delayed due to the COVID because a lot of the universities are trying to decipher whether or not they are to go back to online, because a scholarship is not just about learning, rote learning. It is also about interaction. It is about cultural exchange. And so until they can make some decisive until they can make a decision really as to the modality of study, a lot of these offers are a bit delayed. For the UK Commonwealth Scholarship, it is normally advertised September to October. It is for master's program, and it is open to Latin America and the Caribbean as well as Jamaica. So we normally have at least 20 applicants going up from Jamaica, but the entire space for the Latin America and the Caribbean is only 4 spaces. So that is one of our highly competitive scholarships. And you see the list of programs that these two scholarships offer. Now, for our local partners, Chase Fund provides scholarship for local and international studies under the programs that they head up, which are culture, health, arts, sports, and education, special education. So if it is that you are interested in studying the arts, music, digital marketing, the photography, anything in the arts field, literature, English, Chase Fund normally supports. Again, it is a merit-based scholarship. The Chase Fund will have their own scholarship process. And upon receiving an award, the information is forwarded to the Ministry of Finance so that we can have the bonding process, the bonding agreement signed. We're also partners with the Ministry of Education, and that particular presenter told you what they're all about and the scholarships that they offer. The National Health Fund also offers scholarship for persons who are in the medical field, dentistry, pharmacists. If you're interested in those occupations, becoming a dentist or pharmacist, the National Health Fund tends to offer scholarship for those programs. Now, the big buzzword bonding has to do with any award that a person will receive for training, grants, scholarships. So grant meaning accumulated, because remember the grant most times is 150,000, 200 in some cases. And if it accumulates to the 300,000 or more, then of course you have to sign a bond. Study leave are for persons who are employed to the public sector and now require leave of absence to take up studies, and they're paid while they're on that leave of absence. So they have to sign a bond promising to come back to work and work, whether in a different capacity, but to work for no less than 2 to 5 years. Now, to sign a bond, the awardee, meaning the person getting the scholarship, will require to have their ID, 2 forms of ID, their TRN, and the award letter stating what it is that you're being given, where it is that you're going, and the amount of funds that you will be getting. For the guarantors, we ask that they have 2 pieces of ID, proof of asset, and I must stress, because a lot of the times we find that the students can't get guarantors because persons are saying they don't want to give up the assets and stuff, they don't want to give up this. We're not putting a lien on the assets, so let me make that very clear. We ask for the assets because it shows that you are financially able to co-sign for the students going off. And the asset, yes.
So the awardee is supposed to have like 2 IDs or 1?
2 IDs. It can be the work ID and a national ID. It can be for the awardee, it can be the school ID and a national ID, but it must be 2 IDs. If it is you don't have 2 IDs, we'll work with 1 national ID or any form of ID that is acceptable, and a certified picture from the JP. That's okay? Question answered?
Yeah, but one more thing. Certified what?
Certified picture. So a passport size picture certified by a justice of the peace.
I want you to guarantors.
If it is that you only have 1 ID for either the guarantor or the awardee.
I want you to guarantors have to.
I didn't get the question.
I want you to guarantors present like 2 IDs or 1.
2 IDs as well. For all our processes, we ask for 2 IDs, your TRN. If it is that you're using your driver's license, of course, the TRN would be on it. So the TRN would not be applicable. If it is not presented on the ID, then the TRN has to be presented as well. The proof of assets would mean a bank statement or the bank letter that indicates that you have 100,000 or more in the account, credit union statement or letter, the house title, land title, car title, 10 years or younger. And again, as I said, we're not placing a lien on any of these documents or any of these assets. It's just that it is showing that you're financially able to co-sign for the loan that the person is getting.
Right.
Now, it becomes a loan if you don't live up to the criteria of the bond. So that is why it is called a loan/bond agreement. Now the bond range and service period is on the screen. Below 300,000, you're not required to sign a bond and there are no guarantors required. And the range from 300,000 up, anything over $2 million is 5 years bond and a 3-year and 3 guarantors, that you'd need to sign on your behalf. No person say why bond. The reason we bond is because you are being given the opportunity to study. You're also being afforded some monies to go and pursue your dream. What we ask is that in order to help Jamaica to grow and to become the Jamaica that we want to see for Vision 2030, is that you just come back and help us grow by giving some service. So if it is you're going overseas or you're getting something from, well, we don't have a partnership with GK, but if you're getting funding from the Ministry of Education, if you're getting funding from NHF, all we ask is that you go, you study, you do your best and sign a bond so that whatever it is that you've learned, you can put these best practices into the institution and help to make Jamaica a better place. So that is the reason for signing a bond.
And that is a reasonable proposition. Yeah.
Pardon?
And that is a reasonable proposition.
Exactly. If it is though that persons sign and choose to run off, then it becomes a repayment process and an interest rate of 25% is added after the first year. So
How we stay?
yes, and that interest rate was applied when interest rates were very high in Jamaica, although I think we're heading there again. Based on what is happening in the economy. But it is really as a deterrent, because why would you want to, let's say you got a $2 million scholarship, right? And you studied for your 4 years and we asked you just to serve 5 years after you finish studying. We give you 1 year moratorium to try and find a job within the field of study. After that, you say, oh no, this is not for me. If it is that you are going to be attracted by an overseas entity or any entity, please engage in the discussion to tell them that you have a bond, ask them to pay it off, and then you and them work it out. It is easier that way. That way you're not paying a penalty. You're paying off the money up front, and it also allows another person to benefit because that money is now back in the government coffers and it will allow another child or another needy individual to benefit. So that is the reason for bonding. And I think Mr. Sweeney said we had a question and answer session a little later. So I will remain on the platform for those questions. Thank you so much.
This up for those who persevere and who see through the tears. And in the grand scheme of everything, them still the year. And although we no millionaire, feel like a millionaire, we still a celebrate. So put me hand in the air and say I am a success story. Yeah, success, a success story. I am a success story. Yeah, success, a success story. I am a success story.
Good morning to everyone. My name is Kevin Brown, and I am an admin assistant at the Office of Student Financing, UWI Mona. Role of Office of Student Financing: to provide financial assistance to registered undergraduate students, liaise with donors, internal and external, advise students of their options based on their unique financial situation, liaise with the Student Loan Bureau and other external entities, and finally, refer students to counseling at the health center. Now, type of financial assistance: scholarship and bursaries, general financial assistance, the U.S. Department of Education Federal Student Aid, Student Academic Enrichment Fund, and financial guidance. Important costs to consider when applying for university: tuition, meals, accommodation, miscellaneous fees, transportation, and books. Let's start with scholarships. This is a paper-based application form that can be found on our website. I will put the web address in the chat when I'm through with the presentation. General Financial Assistance, this is an online application that can be found on the SAS portal. Scholarship and bursary. The application period is April 1st to June 30th of each year. And there is a UWI Mona bursaries. This application period is from the 1st of June to August 31st. This is the university bursary. It is for the law bursary and engineering. Let's get into some of the scholarship and bursaries that are available to incoming students. These are the students that are coming into first year. These are the Ministry of Education scholarships, IGL scholarship for medicine and nursing, the UWI Township scholarship, the New Fortress Engineering scholarship, Dr. Merle Grant scholarship for medicine, Sagicor scholarship, Carrera scholarship, Grace Kennedy scholarship, NCB Software Engineering Scholarship, Aisha King Rainford Scholarship, Betting Gaming and Lottery Communication Grant, and the Mark and Kathleen Newman Scholarship.
Sarah, which one you said about IG, what for nursing?
Yeah, IGL Scholarship for nursing.
Okay, thanks.
I am going to list some of the scholarships that are available for the different faculties. I'm going to start with the Faculty of Medical Sciences. The UWI Toronto Gala, IGL Scholarship for Nursing, IGL Razar Azar Rahman Scholarship for Medicine, Dr. Mergrant Scholarship, Faculty of Science and Technology, NCB Software Engineering Scholarship, the Mark and Kathleen Newman Scholarship, and Samuel Edward Sticky Brooks Memorial Scholarship. Faculty of Law, UWI Mona Law Bursary, Frank L. Myers, and Duncock Scholarship. The Faculty of Sports, Dr. Tulsi Singh Scholarship in Sports. Faculty of Social Sciences, the Dwayne Palmer Memorial Scholarship, JMB Bursary and Scholarship, KPMG Scholarship in Accounting, the Kayla and Joseph Thakur Memorial Scholarship. Faculty of Humanities and Education, Limnars and Bard Limited Bursary, Library and Information Association of Jamaica Scholarship, Audrey Roberts Scholarship, Bridget Jones and William Mayo Scholarship, Faculty of Engineering, H.J. Fenton Memorial Undergraduate Scholarship in Engineering, Discover Tuition and Miscellaneous, Kevin Paul Akindale Wright Memorial Bursary, and the New Fortress Energy Scholarship. These are some of the awards that are available for any faculty. These are Keith Dunley Scholarship, Class of 1969 Bursary, the Alice Victoria Lloyd Bursary, the Inez Martin Scholarship, Principal Scholarship for Excellence. Let's go to how to apply. You visit the OSF website during the academic year for updates at www.mona.uwi.edu/OSF. You're going to download the application form, complete all the applicable section, print and sign.
Repeat, www.mona.ua.
www.mona.uwi.edu/OSF. So you download the application form.
Wait, what, sir?
You download the application form because it's a paper-based application. You have that?
Excuse me, I got logged out. So can you repeat the website for me, please?
www.mona.uwi.edu/OSF. So when you go to the website, you download the application form, complete all the applicable sections, and you submit the application form at the Office of Student Financing. And please note, you can apply for all the scholarships that you are eligible for. There's a rule page at the front of the application form, and you can put your scholarships in order of preference. Now I'm going to go into the general. You have a question?
That's forward slash OSM.
OSF, Office of Student Financing,
Okay.
OSF.
F.
F
Okay,
as in
thank
fish.
you very much.
I am going to go into the general financial assistance now. This is an online application that it runs all year round, from school start in September until the semester finish in April. You can apply for financial assistance through that portal. The portal, you have to be a registered student. And the portal is on our SAS. Log on. So from this application, you can get financial assistance with meals. You can get a cash grant to help you to offset any minor expenses that you might have. Or if is it that you have you're short in your tuition, it's not really for tuition, but if your tuition is short and you'd like to put the assistance to the tuition, that can also work. And you can get assistance with books. Now, federal student aid. This is a direct unsubsidized loan given by the U.S. Department of Education. Again, a direct unsubsidized loan given by the U.S. Department of Education. Eligibility. U.S. citizen and eligible non-citizen, for example, a green card holder. Student registered in all faculty except for medical sciences. Mona campus only. Program must be delivered face-to-face. Because there was COVID, the pandemic, as you know, there was an exception for that, but we are going back to face-to-face now, so that is going to be back in place. Student Academic Enrichment Fund. Assistance given to full-time final year undergraduate students to enable them to attend or participate in a conference or academic exchange and activities which could further enrich or enhance the quality of training progressively. Application forms and eligibility requirement can be found at www.mona.uwi.edu/OSF. The Office of Student Financing also provides guidance regarding other funding availabilities for undergraduate study. Assist with students with their SLB waiver, cancellation, or tuition adjustment requests. We also administer the part bursary offered through the Ministry of Labor and Social Security. Part bursary opens August 1st to September 30th. And this is 100,000 offered to the students who benefit from the PART program. And you should be getting the PART from high school. So if it's a case where you're on PART in high school, then you're eligible to apply. How can you reach us? We are at the first floor administrative annex building upstairs from Billings and Receivables, that is on the Mona campus. Our web address is www.mona.uwi.edu/OSF. Or you can email us at stufin, that is STUIFNC, at uwimona.edu.jm. Or you can call us at 441-4120 or 441-3587. And remember, 876 at the front. Finally, Success is achieved and maintained by those who try and keep trying.
This up for those who persevere and who see through the tears. And in the grand scheme of everything, them still the year. And although we no millionaire, feel like a millionaire. We still a celebrate, to put me hand in the air and say I am a success story. Yeah, success, a success story. I am a success story. Yeah, success, a success story. I am a success story. Yeah.
Okay, so I just want to greet you all. I hope that you guys are having a good weekend so far. I understand that we are one of the favorite companies or financial institution that you look forward to each year. My name is Siobhan Harvey, as I stated before. Okay, and also receive greetings from Crystal Bars McDonald, who would normally be here to present on the different benefits that we have here at Students Loan Bureau. Now, just a little exercise. I'm thinking that we have 70 participants. I'm just gonna ask that if you could unmute your mic, but here's the instruction. I'm going to sing, then you're going to follow afterwards. So you're going to unmute your mic and repeat what I said, okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'm also gonna sing a little song for you in the latter part of after I've completed the presentation. Okay, so everybody say, oh,
Oh.
everybody say, hey.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh.
hey,
Hey.
oh, hey. Okay, so we're just gonna do that again so that everyone understand it. Okay, so that everyone can be a part of it. Okay, so everybody say, oh, say, oh, oh, say, oh, say, oh, oh, hey, oh, hey. Okay, so that was fun. Okay, so as I said before, my name is Siobhan Harvey. I'm from the Students Loan Bureau, and I'll be your presenter for today. Okay, I hope that you will enjoy. I hope that you will grasp all the knowledge and information that I will share today. I just want to start off with a scripture from Proverbs. I don't know how many people here read Bible. Proverbs chapter 19 from verse 2, it says that the King James Version actually says, also that the soul be without knowledge, it is not good. And he that hasteth with his feet sinneth. Okay, another translation, which is the English translation, it says, desire without knowledge is not good, and whoever make haste with his feet misses his way. What that is saying is that, I also want to state this just because a lot of persons apply for Students Loan Bureau, a lot of persons apply for financial assistance, but because of their lack of knowledge, because of the information that they do not have, they somewhat miss their way. Okay, and so in order for you to be fully equipped for school, in order for you to be really successful in pursuit of your tertiary education and your bachelor's degree or whatever thing that you're pursuing, you have to be advised, you have to have the knowledge that is required. The intelligence is important. Okay, and so what the Bible is saying in Proverbs, you need knowledge. And so that's what I'm here to present to you today, knowledge, so that you can complete and achieve your tuition or your pursuit or your degree. Okay, awesome. So I'm just gonna start by going forward with the next slide. So we are Students Loan Bureau, your financial partner for tertiary education. So what do? We are not a student union in terms of we observe persons who are doing well in schools and so on. We offer, we provide funding to Jamaican nationals who are pursuing tertiary level education and who needs assistance with their tuition financing. Now, 99% of the persons are students, are applicants who apply for SLB financing are successful. So it's not a case where, okay, it's a 70% chance, a 50% chance. It's highly unlikely that you're going to be benefiting from it. Okay, and let's move on. We have two different loan facilities that are tailored for you, for persons who are pursuing their first degree. We have the targeted loan, which is the undergraduate, and we have the PAYS loan facility. The targeted loan, we're going to start with that one, caters to applicants pursuing undergraduate studies. Borrowers are not required to repay loan until after completion of studies. Okay. The loan tenure is, before I go that, it's 100% financing, and the loan tenure is 15 to 20 years. 20 years for medical students and nursing and law. Okay, one of the lowest interest rate, rather island-wide, in comparison to other institutions. The moratorium period interest rate is 7.8% and 9.5% in repayment. Okay, so this is a really good loan facility. I think this is a really good deal in comparison to what's there on the market. You repay after you've completed school. If you're one of those child or children or parents who want your children, you know, to actually repay or bear the burden or somewhat, or you don't want your parents to bear the burden of repaying a loan currently, you can apply for this loan, and you'll be really beneficial. It'll actually help you. We have also some other benefits that I'll list later as we go further in the presentation. Okay, so it caters to applicants who are pursuing their undergraduate studies. Okay, and you repay. There was a recent announcement that before, it was 6 months after you complete or graduate or complete your program of study, but the government has announced an additional 9 months. So now it's actually about, let me see here, you pay your loan not in January, but in September. Okay, I'll discuss a few more benefits as we go along. Let's move on. So that's the targeted loan facility. Repayment begins September following the year of completion, as I stated earlier. You access up to 1 million per academic year. I'm seeing also that 2 guarantors are here. This should have been edited, but you're only required to have 1 guarantor this academic year since the last academic year, which is 2021 to 2022. Application period begins mid-February to May annually. You can apply by visiting our website at www.slbja.com. Okay. No, the application period is not yet open. It is not yet open. That's because we're still trying to facilitate. We were still trying to facilitate students who are applying. You know, last year was a pandemic. There was a lot of lockdowns, and schools were actually being delayed and so on. We actually wanted to facilitate persons to complete their application and so on. And so we give them a length of time. And yesterday was a deadline for the submission of documents. Okay. But you can look out for an announcement with regard to the application period in the coming weeks, as we will announce it on our YouTube or on our Facebook page, Twitter, and so on, our social media platforms. Now, we also have grants that you can actually benefit from when you're pursuing your tertiary education, but conditions do apply. I will list that further in the presentation. I'll explain further. Now, employed professionals who are pursuing their graduate studies, are parents, relatives, a spouse who wishes to take a loan on behalf of a student, you can apply for the Pay As You Study loan facility. Pay As You Study loan facility, we also call it the PAYS loan. Okay, so if you're an employed professional who wants to go after your degree, or you are a parent, you're a student, you can benefit from this loan facility. You can ask your mom to stand as your principal borrower. If you do not wish to complete the loan or repay your loan after school, you want to repay it now, you can ask your parent to stand as your principal borrower. You'll be the depending student, and the loan will be repaid. Okay, now I'm going to tell you about the good thing about this loan facility. You can access up to 1 million per academic year. The repayment begins 1 month after disbursement. The repayment is via salary deduction though, and you have up until, let me see, 7 years to repay. Well, not until, but you have 7 years entirely to repay, and 1 guarantor is required. Now, the good thing about this loan facility is that the interest rate is also low. It is 6% per annum. 6% per annum. And I believe that's news in comparison to what's there on the market. Okay. Now, your monthly payment can be as low as $4,800 per month. For example, a loan of $282,000, it can be as low as $4,800. That's pretty low. No application deadline. You can apply throughout the year for the academic year that you wish to apply for. Now, if you complete school or the semester in May thereabout, it's going to be quite a challenge with regards to that. If your semester begins last year, September, you want to apply in June thereabout, that's going to be a challenge. If it is that you want to apply, you can still go on the website and submit an application. A credit check also is mandatory. And as I said, you can go at www.slbja.com to submit your application for this loan facility. Okay, it is a pay as you study loan facility. You know, submit the required documents in office. These are to apply for the student loan. You have to visit the website firstly, www.slbja.com. I'm going to be saying that a lot. Complete and submit your application on the website. A prompt will advise that the application has been submitted. You will be required to set an appointment on the SLB website for both applicants and guarantors. Okay. You'd have to first make payments as well for the application fee, and that's normally $1,000. The processing fee is normally $5,250, and the insurance fee is based on the tuition amount. Okay. Now, for first-time applicants, the documents that will be required is your TRN, a certified passport size photograph, a student ID card, enrolled student only, a path registered card for household registered under the scheme. So if you are on the path program, you will be required to submit the necessary information to make proof of the same. Okay, would need your banking information as well. But this doesn't mean that we'll be sending the funds directly to your bank or directly to your account. It's just that we need it in case of any cancellation, in case there is any refund that would be required. Okay. A valid ID, a passport, driver's license, or national ID would be good. Okay. Now the document required are continue the income verification for all employed members of the household.
I'm sorry, can you go back, please?
Okay. Am I going too fast? Just to check. Okay. So that's
no, you're not going to.
Okay, so that's the TRN. Want a certified passport size photograph.
Excuse me, sir.
Student ID. Go ahead.
It's only required for people who are on the path.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, man. So that's the banking information, valid ID. I can either be the passport, driver's license, or your national ID. Have you gotten that, by the way?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. So income verification for all employed members of the household. So if you have a relative who is employed, if there's a cousin, once this is a part of the household, you would need to submit an income verification. It can either be your job letter, it can either be a pay slip, the last 3 months pay slips, that would suffice. Your acceptance letter is also needed. It has to be an unconditional approval. Your transcript is needed as well, where applicable, which means that if you are a second year returning student, you would need to submit that document, the transcript. Or if it is that you're transferring from one institution to another, you need to submit the transcript. But if it's your first time going to school, then you wouldn't necessarily have to. The signing of the contract documents after being approved for the loan. So this is how it actually works. You go on the website, www.slbja.com, register, submit your application, documents, submit your application, pay the necessary fees, the application fee. You would wait for an approval to be granted. You would be notified via email to say, hey, you have been approved for the student loan, so on and so on and so on. You're required to pay the necessary fees, insurance processing fees, submit necessary documents for yourself. Well, submit necessary documents for yourself and the guarantors, sign necessary contract documents for yourself and the guarantors as well. And those will be provided on the website. So you wouldn't necessarily have to worry about that. Okay, have you gotten that? Let's move on. I also intended to play a little instrumental for you guys, you know, just in case that you want a little music. I know young people, you know, like music, and so.
Maybe we could take that a little later on.
Okay. Okay, just moving forward. Let's moving quickly. How much time do I have leave? Okay, so we have a few benefits. Wow, the advance.
You can go ahead and wrap up.
Okay, one of the lowest education. The good thing about SLB is that we have one of the lowest educational interest rate island-wide, 6% per annum, and it can be as low as 4% under special circumstances. Additional loan tenure from 10 years up to 20 years. The moratorium in schools is one of the benefits. You're not required to pay, though you can also make payments. We offer $50,000 grant annually per term. Okay, and there's no collateral needed. We do not need your house. We do not need we do not need a car. We do not need no collateral. Okay, let's move quickly. Let me see here. Other benefit is that there's a 35% reduction in the processing fee for persons who are under PAC. That's why we also ask that you submit the necessary documents if you're a part of the scheme. The children of public sector workers receive a 1% reduction in the interest rate during the repayment period and a 35% discount in the processing fee. Okay, students who apply and qualify for the Jamaica Values and Attitude Program, which is JAMVAT, receive a 70% of their tuition from the SLB as low as 30%, would have been satisfied by the MOE by way of the program. Okay, so you'll still benefit. Okay, so those are the 3 benefits. Let's move on. Okay. Okay, another benefit is that you get a 2% reduction in the interest rate while you're in repayment. If you maintain a good GPA, if you repay your loan on time, no late fees, no charges, no additional interest, and so on, you receive a 2% reduction for at least 12 months. If you continue to keep that for at least 12 months, you receive a 2% reduction in the interest rate. If you maintain a GPA of above, I think it's 2.5%, okay. Customers in repayment whose accounts are current are no more than 30 days past due, they will receive the benefit, the 2% reduction. Borrowers who are permanently employed to a registered charity for at least 1 year, you'll receive the 2% reduction. So that 7.5 can be as low as 5.5, and the 9.5 in repayment can be as low as 7.5%. Okay, so here it is. There's benefit, there's good in applying. So here's knowledge. You do not have any excuse not to pursue your studies. There's a lot of benefits here in attending the school and so on. Okay, moving on. We want to hear from you. So you can give us a call at 876-619-47SLB 4752. You can give us a call from Monday to Fridays between the hours of 9 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. We do have a WhatsApp number. It's 876-279-8080. Okay, so the 279 is actually our WhatsApp number. The 619 is our line that you actually use to call to speak with someone from any particular department you want to. We are on Facebook at Students Loan Bureau, Instagram at Students Loan Bureau Jamaica, Students Loan Bureau that is. We're on Twitter at SLBJA. As SLBJA, and we also have an email that you can send your query to, and that's info@slbja.com. Okay, and that's the end of my presentation. I'm hoping that I'll have a lot of questions from you guys so that I can answer. Okay, because as I said, without knowledge, it is not good.
Thank you very much. So the application list that you can apply for these numerous scholarships are also placed on our website on the students portal once you are a student at the university, and which you can apply for. You apply for all the ones that are applicable to you. So if you see 30 there that are applicable to you, you go ahead and apply for the 30 ones. Please note that interviews are normally required for all the scholarships. So once you are shortlisted, contacted, you'll be interviewed for us to select the best candidate. So I'm sure all the presenters before will tell you how to prepare for your interviews. So start sharpening up your skills, do your research on the company that cannot overemphasize as best as possible, and come ready to give us your A game. And of course, we have the student welfare grants. It's a small fund that we use to assist needy students. The form is also online, and our assistance is normally geared towards tuition fees, books and school supplies, boarding/rent, bus fares, which we normally give you the JUTC card. So we hope that wherever you come to school from, because coming August, I know we'll be going face-to-face fully again. So based on if you're on a JUTC route, we give you bus cards for you to use. And as soon as it is finished, you return it and we give you a new one, so you can keep your road coming to school. And we also offer lunch subsidy. Here we say lunch ticket, but it's actually lunch subsidy. On we have a partnership with NCB where we give you a card, and each month the card is topped up with the amount of money. We do not limit you where you shop with the card. Anywhere that takes the swipe and go, it is fine. So you can actually go to the supermarket and purchase your food, and then you can cook it and take it to school, or on campus where we have the different facilities that you can swipe, then you can use it there. And of course, we offer earn and study on campus as well. Earn and study on campus is where you work according to your available slots on your timetable. We place it right across the university in the different offices, departments, faculties, colleges, and you work a maximum of 50 hours per fortnight. We pay you, a check is in your name. And of course, that check, you can use it for your personal expenses, or you can put it towards your tuition. Also, we offer summer employment on campus, and this is where you work during the summer period on campus. However, on the summer program, though, you work Monday to Friday on an 8 to 4 or 9 to 5, depending on which department you're placed in. And again, you get your monthly pay. It is non-taxable, and you use it accordingly, so you can save from it or you can use it for personal expenses. And of course, most persons who are already enrolled in the university, you can sign up with the placement and career unit to go on the overseas work programs, which is currently, overwhelming now. So you can go and sign up with one of, I would advise you to sign up with one of the programs that are registered with the university, just in case you are having any difficulties with any scamming from one of these organizations outside of the university. The ones that are registered with the universities, we normally monitor them, so at least your processing with them should be a little smoother with them, so we can actually intervene. So be wise. It's a lot of money for you to go, but I'm sure when you go, you will earn more than the amount, so you can come back, pay your tuition, and maintain yourself during your tenure at the University of Technology. And of course, we are here to help you as best as possible. So don't think that you're in a financial difficulties and we will not assist you. Before I presented, you heard from a few institutions like Grace and Ministry of Education, Ministry of Finance, and of course, they're also one of my partners with scholarships. And of course, we will collaborate and see how best we can help you as a student to succeed. So ladies and gentlemen, please, if you're experiencing challenges, please reach out to the institution that you're attending and see how best they can assist you, so you can succeed and get this degree that you well needed, so you can be a better citizen.
All right, so I am Tony Ann Samuels. I am a social work third-year student at the University of the West Indies, as Dr. Sweeney mentioned. And today I'll be talking to you guys a little bit about summer work and travel. So I am sure that many of you have heard the term summer work and travel, but are not aware of how or where to begin the process. All right, so let's begin with what is work and travel. So summer work and travel is a cultural exchange program that permits students who are enrolled full-time at accredited tertiary institutions to travel to the United States. The summer program enables students to temporarily live and work in the US for 4 months
usually between May to September, all while integrating with individuals from various parts of the world. So what is the main objective / benefit of work and travel? So as Dr. Sweeney mentioned, over the years, many students opt to use this method to fund their tertiary tuition. So to help students to work and offset the cost of their tuition. Secondly, to promote cultural exchange. Third, to facilitate exposure to diverse workplace policies and procedures. And of course, to build your resume. Note briefly, according to the work and travel stipulation, acquiring funds is not the program's true intention. Therefore, when at the US Embassy, should not be provided as a reason for wanting to travel to the US. So when you go to the embassy, guys, don't tell them that it's because you want to fund the tuition. All right. So on to some of the requirements. So you must be a full-time university student. Part-times are not allowed. Next, must have a GPA of at least 2.0, which is a C average, and I'm sure we're all bright students, so that should be easy. Thirdly, you must have a passport, and of recent, you must be vaccinated. All right. So a list of potential agencies. So this first one is the agency that I used last year, as well as this year that I'll be going. So it is IRSS. It is the International Recruiting Staffing Solutions. Then we have SWAT, which is Study, Work, and Travel, STEEP International, First Class, and there is Summer Choice, Work, and Travel. So there are others in which you could Google and then they'll pop up. And whenever you type in the name for these agencies, it will click you to a link.
We can go back, please. Thank you.
All right. Let me know when you took it off.
I'm done.
Awesome. So the jobs generally offered. So you have restaurant staff, which includes waiter/waitressing, cooks, bussers, and hosts. Then you have housekeeping, amusement park attendant, store clerk, and lifeguard. So when on my time, I was a server, and personally, I would recommend choosing jobs that offer tips like housekeeping or waitressing, because over time, it does add up. So I would recommend choosing those kind of jobs. Now, how to choose a suitable job? So first, ask yourself, what kind of jobs am I interested in? Review different job descriptions to see what each job entails. So I'm not sure for other agencies, but for IRSS, whenever you pay at least 75% of your program fee, it gives you access to what is known as a job bank. And in this job bank, there are a list of jobs where you can click and see what the job is, the hourly rate, and stuff like that. So then you review the hourly rate. Then where is this job located? Think about what is the cost going to be for a ticket for that potential state. Then the cost for housing. There are some jobs where the host employer does not take rent. So it's good if you could find one that there's no rent. My employer, there was no rent for housing for that job. So then the cost for housing. So you'll need to calculate what it will be for the 4 months, the cost of rent, if rent is needed. Note briefly, there are opportunities to get a second job as long as it does not interfere with your main job. So some persons have 2 or 3 jobs. Now to the hardest part, which is overall expenses. Work and travel can honestly be very expensive. So the first process is the registration fee, which can range from $2,500 to $6,000, which normally begins in September to December or sometimes early January. I know for IRSS, the cost for registration is $6,000, And for SWAT, I think it's 2,500. Now, the program fee. So the cost for IRSs is $1,585 US, and it can range up to $1,800 US, which is over 240 to 300,000 Jamaican dollars. For IRSs, the cost is actually $1,685. However, if you pay before mid-January, you get $100 discount. All right, so then you'll have the embassy fee. The embassy fee is not included in the overall program fee. You will need to pay additional $26,000, which is subjected to an increase yearly. And if you are going with IRSs, they charge $3,500 to complete the application form that should be submitted to embassy for you. But if you would like to do it independently, it is free. Then after that process, you will have to think about plane fare. Depending on the state, this varies. I went to Michigan and the cost for my plane fare was 70,000 Jamaican dollars. So this ranges from 30 to 80,000 Jamaican dollars for the plane fare. Then you'll have to think of COVID-19 test costs. So this ranges from maybe 5,000 to 10,000 Jamaican dollars, depending on where you go. Then if it's a case where you're going to be paying rent or some employers require deposits, this can range from 100 to 300 US dollars, depending on where you're going. Then you'll have to work for maybe 2 weeks before your first paycheck. So you'll have to sustain yourself until then, which they recommend taking 900 US dollars, but I think that is ridiculous. I think 150 US would suffice for that period. All right. And then if you are a first-time traveler, you'll need to think about buying items such as suitcases. But if you have a family member that could help out, I did not have anyone, so I had to buy that, as well as some personal items. So in total, I spent around $400,000. This amount can be more or it can be less. The program fee for the overall fee for SWAT, even though the registration is 2,500, the fee is I think 1,750. So that would work out more than IRS. All right. So how to make the most of the experience? So first you're going to budget. That is the most important thing. So Shein, Amazon, Zara are not your friend. The first thing that should be done is setting aside your tuition fees. This was the main purpose of the program. Do not lose sight of it with online shopping. Even then, still have self-control. You may even be able to save enough to pay next year's tuition, which is possible. It is possible. Have a positive outlook. Be friendly and courteous to all, and most importantly, have fun. Be open-minded. Do not be dismissive of other person's culture. Know your rights. A handbook is issued at the US Embassy if your visa is approved. Please to read it. Please read it, because some employers, it's their first time recruiting Jamaicans to work, and they're not necessarily aware of some laws. So you should keep abreast to them. And lastly, be safe, stay alert, and continue to practice and keep abreast of COVID-19 protocols. All right, all the best to you all.
Mr. Sweeney, I have a question.
Yes, go ahead. Can you say
All
your
right, so
name?
this is Selena. This is Selena Collins.
Oh, hi, Selena.
Hi, Mr. Sweeney.
Mhm.
As you know, I'm a tertiary student at
Right.
Exeter Community College, and
Right.
I mean, listening to all these great opportunities and all these sponsorships and grants, I'm a little bit disappointed that certain community colleges aren't, in the mix, but I do see certain grants that could be applicable for us, but I do wish that we had more persons, including the community colleges for students.
Mm-hmm.
It's just as expensive
Okay,
That's very
that's an
good.
interesting question. But I
Mr.
think the
Sweeney?
presenters will respond to you because I believe you're not left out at all.
No, because for the community colleges, they can also apply for JAMVAT and the financial assistance, and there's also the Carrera Scholarship
Mhm.
that the students from the community colleges can apply for.
And students loan too.
Yes,
Isn't
that's
that right? Isn't that right, Mr. Harvey? Sir Harvey?
I'm here. Could you repeat the question, please?
Right, isn't that, we have a student from a community college and she was concerned that she felt left out because she didn't hear about many things that students in those colleges can benefit from. But Ms. Williams just pointed out that they're eligible for JAMVAT and she mentioned another scholarship. But I'm saying, I was asking, isn't she also eligible for a student's loan?
Yes, she is. For
Yeah.
students who are attending, like for example, Brownstone Community College, and there's some
Yeah.
other list of schools who are somewhat listed. They're stakeholders with Students Loan Bureau. So you can apply to Student Loan Bureau, and once it's a
Right.
degree program, you can even matriculate and so on. We will facilitate that. You can actually go on our website and use the list of schools.
Right. And the past program, well, Mr. Anderson hasn't yet presented, but you will hear in a short while that you can also benefit from the grants that are offered through the past program if you're a beneficiary. But even if you're not, the Ministry of Labor also has other grants that you can benefit from, even if you're at a community college. So you're not left out at all, Selena.
And also, Tad, thank you so much for the information. Also, Tad, I was just wondering, since if you're benefiting from, per se, a grant from a particular institution, will that prohibit you from participating in other grants? Because I know that was the case when I tried to apply for some grants, because I was already receiving assistance from, Grace and staff.
No, for example, if you're receiving a grant from Grace and staff, it does not affect your benefiting from any of these institutions that are present here. I think institutions are becoming aware that they try to be a little bit more flexible nowadays. For example, if you got the JAMVAT though, you wouldn't be eligible for 100% tuition from Students Loan Bureau. Am I right? You'd be getting the 70% because 30%
That's correct.
would
That's
have
correct.
already,
That's correct.
right, because 30% would have already been funded by JAMVAT.
Exactly.
Right. But no, I believe that you are still eligible, Selena, for other grants, and other scholarships.
And Students Loan Bureau does offer other grants, for example, the $50,000 grant that you can apply for annually. And benefiting from other grants would necessarily hinder you. We just need to see, we just want you to present the need, and we will consider the application.
Thanks.
Thank you so much.
Okay. All right. So we'd like to take up some other questions. You can put them in the chat as well if you like. Or you can open your mic and ask. This is it's a rare opportunity, and we have all these presenters together in one forum,
Excuse me, I'm asking if there's a number we can use to contact student loan.
It's 619-4752. I think Mr. Javier said it earlier. 619.
So that's 876-619-4752. And you can even send us an email. We are active on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter as well. On Facebook, it's Students Loan Bureau. On Instagram, it's Students Loan Bureau. On Twitter, it's SLB@SLBJA and info@slbja.com. You can send us an email as well.
All right, Mr. Harvey, I have a question. Hello?
Yeah, go right ahead.
Go ahead.
Yes, what's to do a undergrad program? The most that you give is $1 million? That's it?
That's right. That's right.
Okay. How do you apply for the 50,000 grant that you offer?
Okay, first you'd have to submit an application. You'd have to be an applicant. And after you submit the application, persons are normally selected randomly by the system. and that's based on need. Okay, but you can submit and or put something in writing to state your need for the granting aid and submit that same information at the Public Relations Department at Students Loan Bureau.
Oh, so you have to come in office to do that?
Yes, you'd have to come in office with a form, with a written letter stating your request and as to why you should actually benefit for that info. Your TRN should also be in that letter as well.
Okay,
And the contact number.
For the National Health Fund Scholarship, how you apply for that? Not for you, Mr. Harvey, it's for
Ministry of Finance?
Yes, Ministry of Finance.
For the National Health Fund Scholarship, it is administered by the Health Fund. So you'd have to apply to the National Health Fund for it. And they go through, do their deliberation, and we come in at the back end when you're given an award for the signing of the bond. So it's something that you'd actually have to go to the National Health Fund and apply for.
Oh, you have to go in office for that?
Yes,
right?
you have to, or on the website.
There's a link for the website? Is that you did not?
No, I don't have a link for the National Health Fund website. I can get it though and provide it to Mr. Sweeney for dissemination a little later.
All right, that would be nice. Thanks.
Okay, no problem.
Good afternoon. I have a question. I'm just curious. I know you said tertiary. So for someone who just finished UTech law, are there any scholarship for those who would want to go to Normal Manley Law School on this program on their list of institutions that are here?
And that's a question for Students Loan Bureau?
I guess students loan or anybody who has that offer, because some of the persons are here, they are finishing up or they have finished already. And so does that is considered as tertiary or is considered postgrad or something different? I don't know.
Yeah, so for persons who want to matriculate to Normal Manley Law School, I think we do fund those persons. I'm familiar with a few persons who have called recently or numerous times regarding Normal Manley Law School. Okay.
Okay. Thank you very much. Anybody else? Nobody else?
Crystal, do you have anything?
I have a question, sir. For the email that says www.mona.ua.edu, that's what's at the end of it.
So in the meantime, Crystal, are you on? Crystal Gill? Does the
Hi,
GK
no,
Fund-
we don't provide.
Sir.
We normally do final year scholarships to Normal Manley Law School. But the final year scholarship is going to be currently the Digital Institute scholarship. So we won't have any final year scholarships to Normal Manley Law School students.
Okay.
Yes, I'm Sylvester Anderson. I'm the acting coordinator for the Special Employment Program here at the Ministry of Labor and Social Security. Now, you might hear the term special employment, but in fact, I'm speaking to you as it relates to educational opportunities, because I was the former coordinator for that intervention. So where are we with the intervention now? The intervention, basically, it's a grant. And the grant in terms of students can be used for those who are at secondary level and those who are at tertiary level. And including those at the tertiary level would be those who are attending HART. So let us first start with those who are at the secondary level. All grants, education grants, that is, they are for persons between the ages of 16 and 35. Note that, please, 16 to 35. Once you fall in that age cohort, that's the first qualification. The second thing is you must be a Jamaican by birth. Not a Jamaican resident, no, but a Jamaican by birth. So therefore, you must present a birth certificate to indicate that you were born in this beautiful island of Jamaica. The other thing you must have for us, you must have a TRN. Note I'm giving you the requirements first, and I wanted to make note of these things. You must have your TRN. In addition to that, there are other things, a picture ID would be good. So those of you with a school ID that is still valid, a passport or a driver's license. No, the age cohort 16 to 35. So you have a driver's license and national ID. Those would work. Importantly, we need character references. So we need at least 2 recommendations. And we prefer, certainly at the secondary level, if one could be from the institution. So you go to a high school, if you can get one from your learning institution, and preferably through the guidance department. You must have a passport size photograph. Importantly, you must have the cost of your tuition. Now, I'm going to break it out for you in short order, but you must have the cost of your tuition. That goes right across the board, both for the secondary students and tertiary. However, we're going to separate now tertiary and secondary. At the secondary level, all you would give us, I listed the requirements a while ago. So you give us an invoice or the cost of your course of study. Now, we said 816, but really look at persons who are entering 6th form. And let me remind you, and I hope the Ministry of Education is here, but at the 6th form level, you must pay that tuition cost. Up to grades 11 or 5th form, they ask that you make a contribution, but I don't think it is compulsory. But certainly at 6th form level, you must do that. That is where we come in, because the cost at the 6th form level can be a little bit out of the reach of the average Jamaican. So we'll assist you there. So once you're accepted to 6th form, we will come in and assist you with your tuition once you do your application. Now, in previous years, we would have looked at persons who would have had passes at grade 2 at CSEC and grade 4 at CAPE. We have made some adjustments where that is concerned. So we are now looking at a grade 3 for CSEC and a grade 5 for CAPE. So once you're accepted students for lower 6, so you'll have your CSEC results, you come with all of the things that I mentioned before. For those who are going to upper 6, then you ensure that you bring your unit 1 results, and along with the results and your invoice, and we'll be able to assist you. Now, for the secondary students, you can get assistance to a maximum of $100,000 over the 2 years. Note that, $100,000 over 2 years. So if, for instance, you went to, let's pick a school here now, we're downtown, so we're going to say Wilma's, either one, boy or girl, and the tuition cost is $70,000, and you're just going in, so therefore you're going to lower 6, all the grades are there, then we'll pay that $70,000. When you go and sit your unit 1 CAPE and you are successful with those, you come back to us, and all things being equal, the tuition remains the same, $70,000, we'll only pay $30,000 because that's the $100,000 over the 2-year period. For those at the tertiary level now, it's a little bit different, because for you to get the assistance, I listed everything before in terms of requirements, but what you're going to add to that now would be a couple of other documents. One would be a transcript. The transcript will outline your GPA, and it's based on your GPA that you're assisted. We start with a GPA of 2.0 all the way up to 3.75 plus. That's a 3.75 plus, I'm going to tell you why. For those at the level of 2.0 to 2.3, that's 2.0 to 2.3, you can only be assisted to the value of $75,000. So $75,000, 2.0 to 2.3. 2.31 to 2.49, it is 70% of an amount, and the 70% of the amount that you're referring to here is 175,000. So it's 70% of the 175,000.
Sorry, 2 point what?
2.31 to 2.49. That's your other range. The first one was 2.0 to 2.3, and you get $75,000 for that flat. So once you're in that range, you get 75,000. At 2.31 to 2.49, it's a percentage that we work, and the percentage is based on an amount of 175,000. So it is 70% of 175,000. That works out about what, 140,000 thereabouts, I think. And at 2.5 to 2.99, you go to 80%. 3 to 3.59, 90%. And then 3.6 to 3.74, you get to 175. Once you reach 3.75, now GPA of 3.75, you're in what we call the premium bracket. So there you can get $200,000. So quickly, let me just remind you, we start at 2.0 and we go all the way to 2.74. And in that period, you can get a maximum of 175,000. And then once you reach 3.75, then you are premium and you get $200,000. So that's at the tertiary level. Now, what is important here is for persons to confirm or present the knowledge that they are actually, or the information that they're actually in their file. So I said we need your transcript. The other critical document that we are going to need would be a stat actually in your final year of study. And the other document that we would require from you would be a statement of account. Now, the statement of account reflects all your payment from you have entered the university or the tertiary institution, if it's a college or university. That statement of account is a critical piece of information, just like your transcript. Why? We look at your record of payment and you'll find that there are some persons who at the end of, let us say it is your degree will take you 3 years. You were struggling all along. Years 1, years 2, you were struggling. So therefore you're in your final year now, which is year 3, but you have a significant sum outstanding. The committee will take into account your payment pattern to make a determination as to whether or not you are going to be accepted. So that's why that statement of account is critical. We must get it. So that is where we are at the secondary and tertiary level. The other thing I spoke about, I said we look at heart as well, but remember where heart is concerned in terms of the education aspect, you don't pay any significant fees there. However, persons who are attending heart and they are doing a skill-based activity, so you will end up with, say, a level 2 in electrical, a level 2 in plumbing, can get some assistance to purchase equipment. So you're going to need some tools to work with. Say cosmetology, you're going to need some tools to work with there. And through the entrepreneurship grant now, we can assist you where that is concerned. So it's only if you are entering hard to do a level 2 or level 3 skill-based activity that you will get you can apply rather for the entrepreneurship grant. So let us go back to it in summary. At the secondary level, we look at persons who are entering sixth form. Once you have been accepted to the sixth form and you have a grade 3 for CSEC and a grade 5 for CAPE, then you can get assistance. At the tertiary level, we look at persons with the GPA starting at 2.0 and spread up to 3.74, you can get assistance as well. The final thing I want to see where this is concerned, I coming to you. The final thing I want to see where this is concerned, you have those persons now who would have left the secondary system, but did not achieve all they would have wanted to by way of subjects. they can also be assisted. So you're going to an Eden Institute to do additional subjects. We can assist you with your tuition fee where that is concerned. And it's only tuition fee we assist with. We don't assist with the examination fees. And that, people, is because those are due at a specific time. And as I mentioned before, a committee signs off on it. So we cannot guarantee that the committee would have met, signed off on and approved your request, and we'll have been able to disburse the funds. So we don't look at doing the exam fees, but certainly tuition, you have a little more latitude where that is concerned. So in summary, that is where we're at with the education grant. Now, if Marlon was here, Marlon would be speaking to you about assistance from the parish office, the local parish office. And since we're in Kingston, the parish office is down by Harbor Street. Now, for those persons who are on path, and he would have been speaking to that, those persons who are on path, you can get what we call a bursary. Now that bursary is for persons, once you enter the institution, the tertiary institution, and you do your application, you can get up to $100,000. That's for your first year. In your second year, however, you must have maintained a GPA of 2.5 to access that same $100,000. So your GPA is critical in both instances, more so for those persons who are on path, because if you get the $100,000 just when you enter, that will assist you with your fees. But for you to continue getting that $100,000 each year, you'll have to maintain a GPA of 2.5. Outside of that, in terms of, there's an additional small grant that you can get, but you'll have to go in and speak to them at the office where that is concerned. So I don't want to give much details on it because that one takes a little bit longer, but it's a fact that you can get the assistance where that is concerned. So that is it for now from the Ministry of Labor. So I'll take all the questions.
If you benefit from a PATH grant or any of these grants that you mentioned, can you still benefit from JAMVAT or other grants that may have been mentioned before that are offered by the government?
That's a me, Doc?
Yes. So if someone benefits from a grant from you, can they benefit from a grant from, say, Ministry of Education as well?
Yes.
The JAMVAT program?
Yeah, man. As it is right now, yes. We even though it's coming from the same pot, so to speak, the consolidated fund, yes. For now, you can get assistance from the Ministry of Education because they offer scholarships there as well. And where JAMVAT is concerned, once you have done your hours and they assist you as well, yes, you can come to us for assistance. They haven't changed that policy as yet.
A question to Mr. Anderson.
Yes.
Mr. Anderson, the entrepreneurship scholarship, do you have to be a PATH beneficiary to apply for it?
Well, okay, it's actually a grant that we are, not scholarships. So where the Entrep grant is concerned, no. Even though persons who are in a PATH household can in fact do an application for what to call a Steps to Work grant. Remember, we're talking Entrep now. They can apply for what is known as a Steps to Work grant. If you are not in a PATH household, then you will come to my section and we will look at processing an entrepreneurship grant for you. I'm going to just in the chat put an email address that you can send for additional information.
And Mr. Anderson, there's a question in the chat for you as well. I think someone is asking, why is it impossible to get a PATH scholarship?
No, it's not. It's not impossible.
I think that's a question in the chat. I'm not sure if the student wants to open the mic and be more specific.
Yes, but I'd like that person to ask the question. Because
Mr. Sweeney?
Yes.
Good afternoon. One quick question. Is there an age limit to those scholarships?
Yes, I did make mention of the age limit for the education grant would be for persons 16 to 35. I did mention the Entrep. The Entrep is actually for persons 18 to 40. So yes, there's age consideration.
Okay. So for the person who put that question in the chat asking why it is impossible to get a grant, can you open your mic and just be a little bit more clear? so Mr. Anderson can respond properly.
Good afternoon, Dr. Sweeney. Mrs. Williams Burrell here.
Hey, afternoon.
I put the question in the chat because my son, we went into PATH and we made the application, and they said to us that because he was not fully accepted, he was accepted provisionally. So it's when we went to the school, they said we had to get the letter from the school, and we went and asked for the letter, and I think it's the vice principal. I'm not sure if she is. I don't remember her position. But that was she said. She said we won't be able to get it because he's provisionally accepted. And we weren't able, hence we weren't able to get that grant.
But Mrs. Williams-Burrell, you have answered the questions. Because if the person has been provisionally accepted, there's no confirmation of acceptance. So therefore, there must be something else that that person is supposed to do to be fully accepted. So first, we need to find out exactly whether or not the person was accepted at whichever institution. Sorry, I'm going to put my particulars in the chat, and you just send me something by email, or you can call me and we can talk about that one. But provisional acceptance is different from being accepted to do any program. So that is probably why they wouldn't have been in consideration.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Questions? So a question I have for the Students' Loan Bureau, which is asked of me many times, is guarantors always pose a challenge for students applying to the students' loan. Mr. Harvey, persons want to know, I only have one guarantor. Can you get a loan with one guarantor? And secondly, if my mother is a vendor downtown, can she be a guarantor for me? These are some of the questions I get.
Of course, we do. That's a pretty good question. Thanks for that question. And I don't know if I said it earlier, but I think I did. You only required to have one guarantor this academic year since last year, actually. So it's no longer two guarantor, only one guarantor.
Okay.
And the guarantor doesn't have to be formally employed. They can be self-employed, which means they can have a little stall done by downtown or something of that sort. We just need a verification, an income verification, something to state that they are self-employed. So a JP can put something in writing to say that Mrs. Johnson is actually earning such and such amount fortnightly or weekly, and she works such and such and so on. If the business is it's an informal business, for example, the person owns a car wash, we can still facilitate that. We'd need a bank statement or something of that sort for the person to submit, so we can actually have proof of their income. So yes, you only need to have one guarantor, and a person self-employed can be used as well.
All right. Thanks very much.
Okay.
I think there are some questions in the chat. Ganesh, you can read those questions for me.
I wanted to know what the name of the grant or scholarship is for the tertiary students that was spoken about, with the range.
You're not coming through very clearly. Can you go again?
It has a specific name. Like, how do you apply for it? The grant that he was talking about, saying that there's a range from, I think it was 175 to 200 for a person with a GPA of over 3.7.
Is that? I think that's for you, Mr. Anderson, but it's not very clear. But
she's asking, but she's going in and out. So I'm not really getting the full sense of what she's saying. Asking.
Right. Until we can get it clear, I think there are some questions in the chat.
Dr. Sweeney, his email address is in the chat, so she could take it down and send him an email.
Right.
And it's the entrepreneurship scholarship she's referring to.
Okay. Well, Mr. Anderson just put his details up, so you can take it. Right. Right. Ganesh, are there any other questions on the chat?
Mr. Sweeney, if I may interject, this is Miss Mack from Finance.
Hi.
While Ganesh is looking for other questions, I'm not sure if I had mentioned that to study in Cuba, persons who wish to do medicine at the undergraduate level, they must have CAPE level 1 and CAPE level 2. They must have completed both CAPE exams and have the results at the time of application, and that's very important.
Oh,
also, the information for the NHF Educare grant is in the chat, as well as the Chase Fund Scholarship. That will give all the information on how to apply for these scholarships. So that's in the chat right now.
Great. Thanks for that. Ganesh? All right. All right. Well, I guess you can look and see if there are any other unanswered questions, presenters.
Mr. Sweeney,
Yes?
Mrs. Burrell wrote something in the chat. Can you ever explain about the student completing and not able to receive their degree? I want to know if it's something that the ministry has not done, why the person hasn't received their degree. So if you could allow her to speak from it,
Can you clarify, Miss Burrell?
Yes, Dr. Sweeney, afternoon again. No, she did her degree in education, and she went, after she finished, she went to and paid for her certificate, and then it was said to her that she cannot get it because she have over 200 and something outstanding. So until that is cleared, she cannot get her certificate or degree. She's not able to find all her receipts for the loans that she had taken out, and when she went in office to discuss with them, apparently her file was in shambles, and they're wondering why her file is like that. So I'm not sure exactly what really happened, but that's just the
all right, I don't know which institution it is, but don't mention the name. You could write you could ask her to write a letter to she's to go through the finance person. If she's not getting she's not satisfied with what is happening, then she writes to the principal or the president, because if she has paid and there is no record, and she should have kept her receipts, if it is not her fault, I don't see why she should be trying to find money to pay for something that she would have paid for before already.
Right.
May I add to that?
Yes, go ahead.
All right, so this is Selena. One thing I always do in terms of receipts, because you know that the paper it's wearable, you take a photo of the receipt, create a folder on your phone, create a backup on your storage on your computer, label it as payment, as tuition, and you have multiple copies of same. And you can do that with all your important documents.
That's very good advice, Selena.
Very good advice.
Yes. Great. Thanks so much for that, Selena. All right, we want to wrap this up, so I just want to check if there are any other questions in the chat that we haven't responded to. Ganesh, you can tell me. And at the same time, I want to ask everybody on the chat if you can just respond to the poll that we had sent out. We wanted us to answer the questions. There are really yes or no questions. There are really no long responses that are required. Just check the poll that was sent out by Ganesh and just return them. We'd like to get some feedback on what you think about the session.